And welcome back to the TikTok For You podcast. I'm your host, Brittany Broski. Today, I'm joined by one of the most creative, passionate, and inspiring young minds in music today. I would argue. It's Dom, aka Yungblud. Dom, how are you?
I'm all right, Brittany. That was a good intro, wasn't it? Thank you.
you.
I'll give you 20 quid later for that. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Well, thanks so much for joining us. I know you're super duper busy.
Apparently so. Yeah, it's a bit mad, but I as soon as everyone told me that this was a possibility, I couldn't wait to come on and talk to you all.
Yeah, you love TikTok, huh?
I love TikTok, man. I think it's punk as fuck.
I agree. It's like, dude, I don't think there's ever been something where we can reach this many people before, like instantaneously. Do you agree?
Can I tell you something, right?
Of course.
The thing about this platform is a lot of my, punk rap friends didn't understand it. And I was just like, all right, let me just break it down for you plain and simple. There is nothing more punk than a young person or any person from any background being them fucking selves. That's just it. There's nothing more punk than that. And everyone just kind of goes, oh yeah, man, you're kind of right. I'm like, yeah, I am right. That's like sick.
Yeah. Well, and not only it's like so many things start on TikTok. You know what I mean? Like trends, and it affects the Billboard top 40 and fashion. I mean, it's really the epicenter of culture.
Dude, it's mental. It's like, I remember like when TikTok kind of came into my peripheral vision, if you like. Someone said to me, like, you're kind of big on TikTok. I was like, I'm not even on it. They were like, yeah, but your music is big on TikTok, and the kind of the way you dress and blah, blah, blah is big on TikTok. And I was like, all right, because I thought it was like, in the same way when Instagram started, I thought it was like, you know what I'm saying? Shit, like people taking pictures of their fucking eggs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I thought it was just like I'm like, I ain't gonna dance, man. Do you know what I mean? But then like kind of I got on it, and I think like anything, when you find your own voice on a platform, or when you can, all I want to do with my brand and all I ever want Yungblud to do was to connect to people. And it just blew up. Like my TikTok just like, oh, Yungblud's on TikTok, bang.
Right.
I was like,
we actually have I'll be honest, I heard about you for the first time from TikTok.
That's crazy.
It literally and it was so fast and instantaneous, because I was like, who is this? And they were like, oh, it's Yungblud. You don't know Yungblud? I was like, and so it started this whole, your fans are so loyal on TikTok, which is so beautiful. And you're so, it's not even a fan base for you, it's family. I mean, truly, right?
Dude, legitimately, like with this whole thing, man, I grew up in a world where being different, or I grew up in a place where being different or strange or not following the formula was so frowned upon and so kind of damning that all I could ever hope for in my life or career or whatever I was going to do was just to be able to meet some other people like me.
Right.
And I think that's why they're not a fan base, they're a family. I think that's why when people kind of look at us and look at what we become, they kind of see how big the connection is. I never want it to be, all right, man, I'm just going to go and sing a song and it's going to fly up the charts and I'm going to go on stage and play at people. I do not care about that. Not bothered. I care about meeting and creating a family that when we stand in that arena or wherever we are, stadium, festival, small venue, I don't know, train station, we are together and we are like, oh, yo, you're part of this in the same way that I am and the same way that Dom is. You know what I'm saying? I ain't the guy on stage being like, hello, I'm the Messiah, whatever. I'm just like, I'm Mother Teresa, man. I'm going to wash your feet with like wine. You know what I mean? I ain't that dude. I'm just like, I am the same as you. You are the same as me. I wish there was no stage here, but that'd get a bit messy, wouldn't it? You'd stand on the guitar lead and that. You know what I mean? But I was like, that's what it was supposed to become.
Mm-hmm. So I have a lot of questions from that, 'cause you made a lot of good points. You, in a lot of your songs, it's about how you're really disillusioned with like Hollywood and Beverly Hills and just the whole culture around music, popular music. So would you say that, I mean, if it weren't for the fans, obviously music is your expression. Would you still, do you think that you would have the popularity that you do if you didn't have that
No.
intense connection?
God,
No.
no. Dude, that's the thing I've got.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the thing I've got. And every time, it's so funny to me, every time I kind of dabble in that world, it bites me in the arse.
Right.
It's kind of like I'm destined to not be that. Anytime, like, kind of, I don't know, I bleed into a mainstream success or I collaborate with someone who's a little bit more mainstream than me, I don't know, I feel out of my comfort zone. And, you know what I mean? I feel like, even though my fan base always grows, it's kind of weird. It's like a month of a fucking pop song flying up the fucking thing, but my fan base, my connection feels weird. And then I kind of like, oh, fuck that. And then I get back to my kind of
like safety,
that
comfort.
connection. Do you know what I'm saying? I was like, I think that's just who I am as an artist. And it's weird when, you know what I mean, you kind of have that thing, but it's always got to be culture first. It's almost like the music second.
No, for sure.
You know what I mean? It's like the mindset and the message, and like Yungblud is not a singer, it's a way of thinking.
Well, let's unpack that. You're very open about how, I mean, your style is very androgynous. You know, not a drip of toxic masculinity in sight. You talked about growing up in Doncaster.
Yeah.
Was that, I mean, you found your niche eventually, right? Or was it just straight up bullying outcast city until you were probably like teenager?
With it, man. I had an hard time, but I had bollocks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt lonely on the inside, but no one was going to bully me because I was like, I was always sharper than what they had to say. You know what I mean? Even though it ripped me apart, and internally I was in my bedroom at 4 a.m. wondering why the hell I wasn't good enough. I was like, I was always a bit of a fighter. You know what I mean?
Which so many people can relate to.
Yeah, I was always a bit of a fighter, and I always felt a bit like isolated, and I felt every emotion I felt, but I wasn't going to let these, I had a bit of a stick up my bum. You know what I mean? I had a bit of a thing because I was like, just because, like, and this is what I want to say to anyone out there who's getting bullied or getting,
please,
getting looked at or feeling like you're strange. Just because someone's imagination doesn't span as far as realizing how beautiful and individual you are, do not let that make you question yourself.
Period.
You need to express and be and exist in exactly the way you want to. Because if someone's imagination cannot fathom it, that's their issue.
Absolutely.
And that's something that eventually they will learn, because I remember this girl, let me just like put this into a story. I remember I used to ride on the bus, and I remember this girl, right? And I was about 10, and she used to scare me a bit at first, even though I was into like Slayer and Slipknot at first. She looked like an old Susie Sue kind of figure, like punk figure. She had this mad makeup on that was like everywhere. 13 came around. She's cool. 14 came around. She's really cool. 16 came around. Oh my God, I'm in love with you. Do you know what I'm saying? Like she knew she was cool. I just didn't know it yet.
Right.
Let that be a lesson.
Right.
Just
Right.
be real and be who you are. You know what I mean?
I feel absolutely. I know what you mean. And I feel like we're moving towards that too, because social media has been so damaging for that, of like,
Dude, crazy.
it's like you should be an individual, but not too weird because you'll scare people away. And then also, conform to these gender roles that have been set in place for you. But at the same time, it's like online, personally, just from what I post, what the media I consume, authenticity is above everything else. I mean, you can be beautiful, you can be funny, you can be whatever, but people want that confidence. Like what you were talking about of like, you thought she was cool because she knew who she was. It's very much that online.
Bro, legitimately, the internet's a weird place, man. The internet's the Wild West. You know what I'm saying? Because some days the people who love you hate you the next day, and then
Right.
there are people who hate you love you the next day.
Right.
It's a Wild West, especially right now, man, with everything going on. No one can go outside, so everyone's looking at a screen all day, and that's not good for anyone. That's not good for, you know what I mean, me or you or whatever. But it's like when I consume pieces of individual brilliance, like when before I go to bed, I flip through TikTok because that's what I love. The internet's full of a lot of hate. TikTok don't have hate on it, really. You know what I'm saying? You get some idiot in the comments, as always, but it's never direct hate towards you. Like Twitter's the Wild West, man. I'm like,
right.
Whoa. Sometimes you're like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? Because people can twist and fabricate and do and say whatever they want.
Yeah.
Whereas like you're kind of, I'd see TikTok as art, man. People painting pictures and putting it on the internet and like kind of, you know what I mean? If it's comedy, if it's drama, if it's sadness, if it's thing, I see it as like cinema. You know what I mean? And that's why I fuck with it so much, because it's such like an expressionate place of lacking damnation and lacking hate. You know what I mean? Anything that spreads love, man, I'm into.
Right. Well, you said before that your music, you already had a presence on TikTok before you yourself were on it. So was there anything when you finally downloaded the app that shocked you?
Like TikTok's email as hell. All the emails.
Can we talk about this? You said that it's rock and roll as shit.
Bro.
And so I have a question for you. Yeah. You're a fellow Arctic Monkeys fan, an Alex Turner fan. Alex Turner says rock and roll will never die, but you've said the opposite. No?
Bro, can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Rock and roll sleeps.
Okay.
Doesn't die.
Okay.
Got fucking boring because rock and roll started to become five idiots in leather jackets singing about nothing. I call it like guacamole rock. You know what I mean? Like,
explain.
Let's turn up at the studio at 9 a.m., eat guacamole, leave by 5, and come out with a mediocre, watered down. Like, the songs had about as much charisma as a pint of water. Right. You know what I mean? That's why rock and roll died, because it had no identity and it had no bite and it couldn't develop. But every time it redevelops in a new way. And rock and roll's on TikTok, man.
I agree.
Alternative music is breathing and beating through TikTok, man. You know what I mean? When Bring Me the Horizon, a metal band, go viral on TikTok with Can You Feel My Heart? Like, do you know what I'm saying? It's like with even with me, man, rock and roll is so hard to break on DSPs because it's not a popular genre. And what is rock and roll? I'll tell you what rock and roll is. Making a culture that fucking big they can't ignore you. How do you do that? Through subcultures on TikTok, through subcultures in venues, through subcultures in live. With this year, like me not being able to have a live show is the biggest blow to me, because that's where I am alive. That's where Yungblud breathes, because Yungblud's about people. So I just swapped my live show out for TikTok. I mean, TikTok, my live show every day.
And it'll work for now, because I mean, it gives you that instantaneous, fans have your post notifications on, whatever, like they feel like they're there with you to a certain extent. There's the delay of the internet, but it's the closest you can get.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, so going back to kind of rock and roll, your position on it, it's not so much a genre anymore. It's very
No,
much a way of life and a mentality, really.
but it's never been a genre.
Hot take.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, genre is the same as fucking gender. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In my head, it's a rule book that's been placed on something to make people understand or box it in. Whereas this generation doesn't want to be boxed in because boxes are for fucking cereal, man. You know what I mean? That's what it is. Boxes are for cereal and shoes and I don't know, fucking Amazon. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but whatever. I'm like, rock and roll is freedom. That's what it means.
Mm.
Rosa Parks was rock and roll, and she was like, "Fuck you, white man. I'm not gonna stand up for you." You know what I'm saying? Like Michelle Obama's rock and roll.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Obviously, Slash is rock and roll. Obviously, Alex Turner's rock and roll. Obviously, whatever, because it all means the same thing.
Rebellion.
Rebellion and freedom.
Mm-hmm.
For the greater good, man.
Well, you're very expressive and clearly authentic to yourself, which is very admirable. David Bowie has had a huge impact on your life, personally, professionally. Why do you think that is?
He is the epitome of individualism in the way that he developed and grew and changed and expressed himself in a way that he wanted to. And he was authentic. You know what I mean? I think as we talk about this thing called authenticity,
Mm-hmm.
very few people get to that place where he did. Whereas he could do anything and be authentic within it.
Sure.
Do an R&B song. He could do a rock song. He could do a pop song. He could do a movie. He could do a clothing line. Hell, he could do I don't know, he could wear a chicken suit and no one's worn a chicken suit better than David Bowie because David Bowie was the chicken.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Or something like that. You know what I mean? I just like, very few people do that. Yeah. Freddie Mercury had it. Mick Jagger's got it. You know what I'm saying? I think Travis Scott's got it. You know what I mean? I think Billy's got it. You know what I mean? I think there's very few people who have that thing. People can have hit records and people can be big stars, but there's it's like a different league. And that's why I admire him so much, you know?
Sure. Well, all the glitter he wore too.
Oh,
definitely followed suit.
We love a shiny boy.
Who are some of your fashion inspirations?
Vivienne Westwood. I just think what she did was she, again, in the same way, she took the rule book and burnt it in front of everyone's face. You know what I'm saying? I think she was one of the first to really disrupt the idea of gender, to really disrupt the idea of racial inequality, really disrupt the idea of homophobia. Do you know what I'm saying? It was like everyone is equal, and if you don't like it, I'm gonna shove it in your mouth till you're sick. Right. And I'm like, that is so sick.
Right.
In the way, you know what I mean? In the way she developed, in the way she kind of influenced culture, man, and influenced everyone was wearing what she was designing. You know what I mean? Everyone, but more than that, everyone wore it as a second skin, as a layer of protection, as a version of camaraderie. She's the reason I put on the pink socks.
Right.
Because I was like, these never come off. You know what I mean? Because what is something I can wear that makes me completely stand out, yet everyone else can wear it as that layer of protection, that layer of camaraderie, that layer of, oh, you know about that. If you know sort of thing. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's cool. And it's like when we come into a venue and there's 10,000 people wearing pink socks together, that would, you know what I'm saying? We don't even have to say anything. And that's sick. It's like, don't even say anything. It's like, You belong here. I belong here. We belong together.
Should I start crying? That's beautiful. That's everything. As a Brit, how do you view America, both in general and then when it comes to your musical success? Because I know for a lot of people, it's that getting over the pond to Hollywood, to Capitol Records building, all of that sort of stuff. Like, how do you kind of view it?
Mate, I love America. You know what I'm saying? What I love about America is I get to find kids in the middle of nowhere who are having a, you know what I'm saying? I get to go to Bonner Springs, Texas, and meet a person who loves my music. You know what I'm saying? He would never thought I would go there because it's so big. You know what I mean? Coming from the UK, it's so small. You could be up and down in 11 hours. To be able to tour America and have a fan base all across it. It's like the same way when I go to Hungary or when I go to Poland or when I go to Thing or like, you know what I mean, when I go to the Bahamas and someone knows me there. It's so crazy to me because America was such a big place when I was growing up because I came from such a small place.
Right.
And now to be out here and to have a fan base and to have a family out here.
And you're very involved in, you know, I guess it's kind of it's kind of a global issue, but I mean, just politics in general. I mean, you were very active during Black Lives Matter protests. You're very outspoken about things that are fucked up, you know, in your mind and all of our minds. Do
100%.
you think that that's part of your identity as an artist as well?
Just who I am. You know what I'm saying? I think like when I talk about my identity of as an artist, I'm like, I just am who I am. You know what I mean? I'm never going to change. And sometimes it pisses people off. You know what I mean? I think I'm always going to try and change people for the better. I'm always going to try and look at people with a place of like, if my, like, no matter if they're my best friend or my worst enemy, I'll stand next to them and I will fucking say what I need to say and hope that they will leave with maybe some insight. I ain't, but I ain't them. You know what I'm saying? I ain't Mother Teresa. I ain't got the answers.
Right.
But I know what I want to say. And I know what I want to talk about, and I think my moral compass is fundamentally right. And like for example, like last night I was at a bar, right, and someone was absolutely drunk out of their mind, and they were being racist. They were just shouting racist slurs. Am I going to sit there and listen to that? No, I'm not, because that's not the person I am. I'm not doing this for some artistic reason. I'm going to turn around and go, what you're saying is wrong. I'm not going to bark at them. I'm not going to fight them. I'm not going to think. I'm going to look them in the eye and I'm going to go, what you're saying is spreading, one, an old ideology, and two, offensive pain to someone who has had this fight for 200 years. Not anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's not about a grand idea.
Yeah.
It's about everyone educating each other and talking to each other so we move forward together. You know what I'm saying? Like when I talk about politics, it's not because like I'm going to sing about politics because it's cool, man. Or no, like no one does that anymore. It's like I'm going to do, like when I'm in a studio, I'll write a word when it comes into my head.
Right.
I'll write a song when it comes into my head.
And they're hard-hitting topics.
Yeah, they are hard-hitting because it's like it's all about them. I meet my fan base and these people and these kids and these adults and these, you know, families have experienced so much. And I go outside after every show. You know what I'm saying? I always go outside after every show and I meet them. I meet them and I hold them and I smell them and I talk to them. You know what I mean? Because they're my family, they're my blood. You know what I mean? I love that. That's what it's part of.
Absolutely, and that is, and I know you know this, but that is why so many people. I put out on my Instagram story. I said, hypothetically, if I were to talk to Yungblud tomorrow, what would you guys want to know? And so many people were like, just tell him that he's my comfort person. And I know you know that for a lot of people, they find so much solace in you, knowing that you exist and you're there, period. You know, and I get it too, to a certain extent, but yours is just, wow. What a beautiful culture and family you've created.
Dude, and the thing about it is, man, it has its ups and downs. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we fight, sometimes we fall out, sometimes we think. As I've always said, that's what this is about. It's about a journey. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about anything other than that.
Right.
I don't, you know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of simple. It's everyone thinks it's so complicated. I remember I was like, I was at like a Grammy party, must have been 2019 now, Gav, right? Must have been like 2019 now, because obviously there was a pandemic, you know what I mean? But I remember some mad music exec came up to me drunk out of his mind, bit of canapé on his fucking collar, you know what I mean? And I knew how it was going to go. And he just came up to me, he's like, of course it was a man as well, comes up to me and he goes, what's the secret? What's the formula? Like, everything we built and done was bollocks. And I'm like, and I was just like, what? And he's like talking to me for an hour, and I was like, that's the problem with you people, innit? I was like,
right.
It's not, it's just telling the fucking truth, man, and being yourself. And he was like, he couldn't get his head around it, you know what I mean?
It's hard for people.
It is hard for people, you know what I'm saying? But it's what it is. I'll always tell the truth. If people don't like it, they won't like it. But I'm just like,
speaking about kind of truth, and I think vulnerability is what we're touching on. Are you pretty open about your struggles with mental health, or is that really a private matter for you?
No, I don't care. Like, at the end of the day, I say that because it gets me held back, and the reason why Yungblud is, I don't know, again, as you say, a comfort zone, a safe space zone, is I don't give a shit. I will let them know. People are like, don't cry on camera, don't show me your weaknesses, don't do that. It's like, this is what makes it different. You know what I mean? This is what makes it mutual. This is what makes it things. I'm like, speak up about your issues, because the chances are someone's feeling exactly the same as you. And you will find your words, you will find your comfort, you will find your strength, you will find your thing, because I fucking believe in you, because I am the same as you.
Right.
And I relate to you. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I definitely, I feel the same. It's very easy, especially having an online presence, to, act like everything's okay and like it's fine and look at this beautiful life I'm living, but is it true and honest? No. And people don't relate to that. They relate to, I haven't showered in 4 days because I'm depressed as shit, and I'm having trouble feeding myself, like all of these things, where the more honest we are about how bad it can get sometimes, it's very rewarding, because like you said, it's that kind of pat on the back of like, I experienced that too, but it's hundreds of thousands of people, millions in your case, so I'm sure for you, I hope you're gentle with yourself, but do your fans definitely help you remind yourself?
100% always. That's the thing. It's just like, I have something to talk about with every single one of them. You know what I mean? It's like,
how special.
It's my favorite thing to do in the world. It isn't weird or a bore or like, cool, someone's asking me for a picture. It's like, oh fuck, you know me? Cool. How are you? What's going on with your life? Are you okay? Are you finding the pandemic? Is it weird? And it's like that. Like, I get off on that. So here's my idea. It's like, I got into somewhat to find some friends.
Love that. After Corona, what are the places you haven't played yet that you'd love to? What are some live shows you're looking forward to?
Dude, I'm buzzing. I want to go to Asia. I've never been to Asia. We're supposed to go to like Japan, and we're supposed to go to like the Philippines. We're supposed to do all that. Latin America. I can't wait to go down there. I mean, obviously tour back the US. We've got UK shows booked. They look like they're going to happen. Europe, Australia, everywhere, man.
All over. Love it. Love it. What is something you haven't done in your career that because I know it doesn't really matter to you, but you've done so much. Congrats, by the way. We're the same age. What the fuck? Like, wildly successful, and it's insane. And I'm so proud of you. Is there anything that you haven't done yet?
Movies. And
you want to act?
and theatre. Theatre has a big place in my heart. I want to do something on Broadway one day, I think.
How would you ever write a show?
No comment.
Okay, we'll stay tuned. We'll stick around, I guess. Well, before we kind of wrap up, I have a quick game.
Let's do it, man. I love that. I would love to play.
All right, this is going to be rapid fire. I need you to say the first thing that comes to your mind. It's word association when I say these names. Okay.
I love it.
Here we go. Lady Gaga.
Icon.
Tommy Lee.
Naughty man.
Avril Lavigne.
Saved my life.
Period. MGK.
Best mate.
Michelle Obama.
Rock star.
Miley Cyrus.
Rock star.
Billy Ray Cyrus.
Rock star.
David Bowie.
Everything.
We wanted to go back really quick to You Love Avril. You've collabed with Avril. Can you tell us a little bit about that? How special was that?
Dude, that was mental. To be honest, we've been in the studio.
Wow.
Which is crazy. And we've been speaking a lot. You know what I mean? She's a bit of a mentor to me.
Wow.
And I just think obviously she was so important to me in finding kind of my voice and what I wanted to sing about and write about and talk about. And it was crazy when we came together for that part of the show, when we did the Yungblud show, because we thought it would be kind of like a cool, like nostalgic, big emo moment, but it was so much bigger than we envisaged. Both of us, it blew up. It was viral all over the internet. Yeah. So we looked at each other and we said, "This isn't the story, end of the story for us yet. I don't think so." We have. Stay tuned on that, because now you said that, I might put it out. We might put it out next. I don't know.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. This was so much fun.
Dude, I loved it, man.
I'm so glad. I hope this wasn't like every other boring interview you've had to do.
I love this, man. I haven't done an interview in like time, because obviously like I've been in the studio. So this was fun. I hope I wasn't too naughty.
No, we'll bleep where necessary.
Dude, I love it, man. Or just mute, just like slide the slider down. Do you know what I'm saying? For like,
right.
So I'll just be like, I just love you.
Like a censored Lil Wayne song. It's like
you
just the beat.
Mother, boop, you are boop, 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 wanna boop, boop.
Well, what's next for you, and where can we find you if we want to check you out?
Hello, if you don't know me, and you don't hate me because you've been listening to the podcast this long, you can find me at YUNGBLUD, Yungblud, double the flavor, on all social media platforms. So much coming, man. I got 2 albums ready to go. I got tours on the way coming. I got videos. I got collaborations. You know what I'm saying? It's a big old party here. So make sure you join.
It's banging, innit?
It's banging, bruv.
All right. Well, we'll catch you next time, Dom. Wish you all the luck in the world.
Rock and roll star. Thank you so much.